Okay, I wanted to show you how to use this resource. Now, the first page just shows all like the full word matrix, but I wouldn't start with that. That's just more like of a cover. I mean, you could. One way that you could use this is just to project it up, and this maybe is for students who have done a few of these. Ask them if they can connect and make any words. So that would be not as guided as what I'm about to talk about, but that is one way you could use it. Just project this up there, see what kind of words they come up with, and then maybe you could go through the slides or not, but that's kind of a simple way. Another way is to just go through and it's super guided. Now, before I move on to showing you that, I just want to show you this is also a resource that you'll have, and it's kind of, I print that out for you so that you can kind of have your cheat sheet there that tells you what the prefixes mean and kind of how that relates to the word. I know I definitely need that. So then when you project this, you can start with just showing them, oh, it got cut off a little, sorry. Showing them what the root is and what the root means. And then as you go through, it's going to add a prefix or a suffix each time. So I started with subject because that's the word that everyone knows. Usually you can talk about what the prefix means in relation to the root. So sub means under. Now, I did a lot of digging, and subject is tricky because the way that our students know it is for like a subject in school, but that's really hard to, I didn't quite understand how that related to the meaning of ject, to throw, but the verb subject, or even subjects like a king subjects, that I did figure out, and that makes sense to me by using Edum Online. I put that in your notes. So all of this is to say, if you can, try to make that connection for them, or ask them how they think the meaning, sub meaning under, and ject meaning to throw, leads to the meaning of the word subject or subject. Like I said, that one's a tricky one, but you can also just go ahead and read the word. So now I added some suffixes. So what words do we see here? Call in some students. Subjects, subjecting, subjected. Talk about the meaning or how those suffixes might change the word in a sentence. So for example, if it was subjects with that suffix s, that could mean multiple subjects, or if it was with the verb subjects, it would be like the present tense in the sentence, whereas subjected would be the past tense. So now I'm going to add another one, reject. And you can talk about how, check your little cheat sheet, it's going to show you that re means back. So ask them, okay, throw back. How do you think that relates to the meaning of the whole word reject or rejected? Object or object. This is a fun one because there's that verb and noun meaning. So you can even talk about that, how there's like the noun meaning object, and then there's the verb object. And then we also added in suffix ion, which makes, see if they can figure that out, objection. So far we've made a lot of words here. And you can talk about what an objection is. And you can point out how when you add ion, it's a noun forming suffix. So that means that object was a verb, and then we added ion to make it objection, and that made it a noun. We have objective, objectionable, objectively. So when you're reading a matrix, you go from left to right. And let me talk about this second column here for a minute. You can only get to the suffixes in that second column if you go through a suffix in this first column. So for objectively, I went OB plus JECT plus IVE plus LY. I'm just spelling it out because pronunciation is funny. So I added it on to this suffix. I couldn't just go objectly. If I wanted to do that, I would have to put "ly" in this column. So I hope that makes sense. Then we can talk about inject and what that meaning is, the meaning of the word and the meaning of the prefix and how they go together. And then let's try to add some suffixes. You could even have your students do it, or you can ask the question, is injects a word? Injecting, injected, injection. Injective, not a word, right? So now we have, again, the noun and verb. We have project and we have project. And then again, add on your suffixes. We have a new suffix here, projector. We pronounce it projector. And that's a fun one if you want to look at the meaning of that. Like, think about a projector like throws an image forward or forth onto something. Deject. So if you feel dejected, it's like you might feel down. So throwing your feelings down, you feel dejected. Eject, ejected. Ejection. Interject. So this one's tricky. Conject is not a word that a lot of kids will just know. Conjecture is also kind of an advanced word. So you can talk about that meaning, or if you want beforehand, you can choose to take out prefixes if you think your class isn't ready for them. So if you're using this with a younger group of kids, you might think, okay, I'm just going to choose like 5 prefixes. I'm not going to get into some of these more advanced words. Whereas if you're doing it with like a 4th or 5th grade class, you might want to introduce them to some new words. And that can help them understand the meaning of it. And then we have, so traject, I don't even know, that might be a word by itself, but then, but I don't actually think traject is a word by itself. I think we need to go this way. We need to go TRA plus JECT plus OR plus Y to make trajectory. And that's the word. So you can explain that sometimes when you just add a prefix and to the root, it's not done yet. You need to keep adding suffixes to make it into an actual word. So then it shows you all of the words here and you can read them if you want. I hope that this was helpful. So you can go through it like I just did, where it's really guided like that, and it kind of shows it for you. Another way to do it is you can use the blank one and you can build one together. And that's maybe if you think that they have some knowledge of the root, like if there's a lot of common words. Inject is actually a really good one for that. And so you're kind of doing it opposite. You're kind of filling it in, so it's not filled in for you. And the true way to use these, as they were created by Pete Bowers, is meant to do that. It's meant to be more inquiry based. So where like you try to figure out and create a word matrix with your students, which I love doing, and it's really fun. And in a perfect world, we would do that, right? We would have that inquiry-based instruction and activity. But I created these because I think it's helpful for the teachers learning, right? It took me years. My first class on this was in 2016. So it's been years for me to figure out. And I just thought, if I create these, this will help teachers learn how to do it. And then they can do the true structured word inquiry as it was meant to be, which is more of inquiry based. So I hope that this is helpful. And let me know if you have any questions. My email is part of the resource. So there we go.